Ramblin man here. All right, so let's talk about two things. One is we're going to talk about Biden's little address, or what do you want to call it? His little question and answer, his little presentation with CNN. And then the second thing we're going to talk about is the transgender on the front of Sports Illustrated. So you can stick around for the whole video, or you can just listen to part of it. So here we go. So Biden he gave his address yesterday, right? And yesterday evening, when he started out, even CNN, which is far left, right? So they're all about the Democrats. Even CNN was like, oh my gosh, they fact-checked him so far, and they still had more stuff they haven't been able to fact-check. But Biden lied so many times yesterday, and it's not because he was out trying to lie. He just can't get his facts straight because the man is demented, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This guy has cognitive issues, if you don't know that by now. And people will lie and stay there and ride that out to the death. They're like, oh, no, he's totally fine. He just stutters. He stutters. Okay, look. Stutters is one thing. Stuttering is one thing. Dementia? I'm telling you, my wife works in the field. I'm telling you, he has dementia, or on the front end of it. I'm telling you, like, there's times that he's worse than other times. But here, let's talk about. So he talked about all kinds of different things, talking about the, COVID-19 and the vaccinations, how he was going to do 1 million a week. And they said, no, it's 1 million a day, you said, because it's 100 million in 100 days, which turned into 200 million in 100 days, which was fine. Then he said the auto prices are pretty much back to the same as they were pre-pandemic. No, they're not. Let me give you a little insight. They're high right now, especially because the United States is low on chips to run the vehicles. So there's a bunch of vehicles that are made that are sitting in lots that are just waiting to have chips that have to be made to put in the vehicles for them to run. So just like supply and demand, if there's less of them and people are wanting them, the price goes up, and the price is high right now. So I'm telling you right now, if you're looking for a new vehicle, don't go buy one right now, because you're not going to be happy with it. Just tons of different things he keeps going through, and then he's talking about the vaccinations. At first he said that if you get the vaccination, you can't get COVID. Then he said because the Delta variant and everything that's going on, at least if you have the vaccination, you won't get sick, and you won't be put in the hospital in ICU, and you won't die. These all three are false, because you can get it if you're vaccinated. You will be sick, maybe not as bad, but you could be bad, and you can die from it regardless if you're vaccinated or not. So I just don't know. Like, I think he can't even keep himself with a complete thought. So in my opinion, if you watch any of the video from last night, he did a lot of this. You hear people make fun of it all the time. It's really sad, but you hear people make fun and talk about just obscure things and rambling on. That's exactly how it comes out. You don't even know where he's going. He's asking the guy if he's had, he's asking the CNN guy there, he's asked him if he's had the vaccination, and the guy says yes. He's like, oh, so it's like if you're trying to prove that someone's on, there's a man on the moon and the aliens and all that stuff. Anyway, I mean, this is the kind of stuff. So look it up and watch some of it. It's entertaining, to say the least, but it's also sad, because this is what all of the people that the other countries that are enemies are watching too, and they're just like, oh, this is like going to be easy. We don't even have to do anything. Just wait for them to implode, because that's what he's working towards. Division and ignorance and stupidity. Now, let's get into the second part. Now, look, Sports Illustrated can do whatever they want to do. I'm so tired of this is the first transgender this and first transgender that. Here's my question. So, used to, I mean, who really buys magazines anymore except for doctor's offices, so you have something to look at while you're waiting? But beyond that, I'm sure there's some old fogies that still get them, but most things are online nowadays. So if they want to put a transgender on the front of a swimsuit issue, okay, well now it's just one more thing I won't be looking at, because you can't tell if you're going to be looking at a man or a woman. And you're going to have all those people that are going to be like, well, if she identifies as a woman, she's a woman. No, she's not, because here's what happens. So if you go out and you wanted to date, I mean, it's really challenging as a man or even as a woman. If you want to date somebody, you have to make sure, is this person, were they a man before, or is this a real woman? Because here's the thing. Say you start dating someone, you don't know that they were a man before, and they transition. Because let's be honest, if you look at the, it's not saying that people are ugly. It's not saying they're ugly at all. Because if you look at that, as a Lena Bloom, I think is her name. So if you look at her picture and stuff, looks pretty enough. I mean, all the assets look correct. But here's what happens. If I go out to date someone and we start dating, and you know, we go on a few dates and I really like her, and now I find myself that I'm really falling for her, then come to find out, I mean, she's fully transitioned, so, you know, now I'm thinking like, hey, you know, it's getting very serious. Well, what do you think about? Do you think about getting married? Do you think about having kids? Well, that's impossible. Now, you can say, oh, no, you can go and have kids. No, I can't have my own kids. I can get a surrogate, but what's the point? I don't want kids with someone else. I want the kids with the person that I'm with. Now, I've already told people before, I would never date someone that was born a man and decided to be a woman. I would never do that. But that being said, if you find yourself in a situation where you're thinking about kids and stuff, there's no way that you and that person can have kids together because you're both men. Same thing with a woman, that you're dating a woman that became a man, and I've seen a lot of them that look like men. So you have that aspect of it. Then you have sports. Okay, so at what point does like things like the women's NBA and stuff go away? Women's soccer. Because if you watch a women's soccer game and you watch them and you watch all that, and then you turn around and watch the men's is so much faster paced. Why? Because the men are faster and stronger. It's just how it is. You can complain till you're blue in the face, but it's the facts of the facts. Men are stronger and faster than women. Do you have a couple that may be fast and strong? Sure, but they're not going to stand out when it comes to the top of when the top echelon of top tier players. So if you had LeBron James and all of a sudden he changes his mind and says, you know what, I want to be a woman. He goes into the WNBA. What the heck? He will dominate. There won't be anyone that can. He'll be the MVP every year. There's no one that can hang with him. Tell me I'm wrong, but let's be honest, I'm not. At some point, it doesn't matter about Title IX and all the women and the sports and everything they worked so hard to achieve. If you are a transgender and your biological man became a woman in your own eyes and the eyes of some others in this world, then if you start setting records in a woman's sport, there has to be an asterisk next to it. It's just how it has to be. It will never be a real record breaking because you couldn't hack it in the men's world, so you had to go play in the women's. And now I don't have a problem. If you're a woman, you want to go play in the men's league, go ahead. But I think the Hodge twins said it best. They said, you know, what if a woman goes and tries to play in football and you got a 6'3", 240-pound linebacker lighting her up? She ain't getting up. She's going to sleep. She is not getting up. So I just don't see how this can be any good for women's sports. And I don't see how it's any good for men that now they have to second guess themselves. Like, I really like this girl, but is she really a girl? Was she born a girl? It doesn't matter if you say she's a girl. You can say what you are or think what you are all day long. But when it comes down to it, you can't have children because you're a man. You can't even put, both of you put sperm into something. Only one of you is going to be the dad because only one sperm is going to take. So, I'm telling you, it's just a mess. So, all this stuff that you have people putting themselves on magazines and things that are transgender, congratulations. You made it to a women's magazine as a man. That's like a slap in the face for all women, too. Terrible. Just terrible. You can call it transphobia, whatever you want to call it. Everybody, people are going to watch this. I mean, I have people all the time like, you're transphobic. No, I'm just being real with you. Look, I'm not scared of a trans at all. What am I scared of? Nothing. I'm not scared of them. Here's the problem, though. If a woman's supposed to be a woman, then she needs to be a woman. There's no place for her to go, you know what? I want to be a man. And if they want to, fine. That's not going to affect me. But when you have a man that wants to be a woman and starts playing women's sports, that affects sports. It affects everything. So, I mean, that's all I got for you. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm not. I mean, let's be honest. If you think I'm wrong, please let me know. But if you think I'm right, tell me I'm right. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you share. And guys, comment and like. Thanks, guys. Ramblin' Man out.